So I will be, I think, quite short, because after this introduction to the subject, how to organize clinical trials on longevity, or 2 times, how to organize clinical trials on longevity for longevity, we will have the debate about this. So the idea that I have, but also quite a few other people do have, it is very probably possible to find a treatment against aging within 15 to 30 years, but it will be very complicated and it will be expensive. So how to organize it? There are a few facts and scientific aspects, but most of you or all of you already know it. So first is today, like every day, about 110,000 people are dying of diseases related to old age. In this part of the world, European Union and even UK, it's about 90%. And in the world, it's about 70%. And in the poorest countries, even in the poorest countries, it's now more than 50% of all deaths who are related to old age. You also all know that senescence is not something universal. For example, trees do not age, or many kind of trees do not age, like sequoia. That from senescence is not natural. I mean that in the nature, the animals, they are becoming weak and then they are eliminated. They don't die really of old age. Senescence is malleable. You can choose it, change it, and we will come back to this. There is no limit, like the speed of light or the sound barrier. There is no limit to the lifespan. And we only need longevity escape velocity, so we only need to gain 1 year of life expectancy each year to reach what some people call immortality. But I know that some people say we have to avoid these very hard words, even if it is not immortality. So you also probably all know that we die of 3 big categories of diseases due to aging: cardiovascular diseases, cancer, neurodegenerative diseases. But also, this is the elephant in the room, also most of you know that, even when we die of infectious diseases, even when you fall, and most people, when they fall, when they have an infectious disease, they don't die, except very old people. So actually, even infectious diseases and falls are related, when they are mortal diseases, they are related to age. You probably also almost all know about this schema. That's what we know about aging today. It's a little bit changing each day, and many times when you have one link, you don't know what is causing the other. Is it going from A to B, or from B to A, or from A to B, and from well, 2 directions. The bad news is something like the neurodegenerative diseases. We are advancing very, very slowly. We were gaining about 20 years of life expectancy in 2,000 years. Actually, when you speak about average lifespan, it is going very fast. We win each year more or less 2 or 3 months. But when you speak about the maximal lifespan, we are not progressing so much. So the first person ever to reach 100 years, it was probably 2,000 years ago. And like you also almost all know, the maximum lifespan ever was 122 years. It was in 1997. And the oldest person in the world at the moment, it's only 115 years. So we are not progressing for this aspect. What do we need for clinical tests for longevity? Or what do I think that we need? But there will be more space for the debate. So we need, first, a paradigm shift. So at least for stakeholders, or it could be also for the scientists, or it could be for the public opinion, but people understanding that main cause of death is aging, and that it's probably possible to find a cure, or more or less to find therapies who are making it possible to cure diseases. We need something like a moonshot project, a Manhattan project, a big project at the world, or at least at the European level. What's happening at the moment in terms of real tests, clinical tests for longevity? Actually, almost nothing. So maybe I know people. Some people say there are things who are happening, but not so much. There are many improvements who are possible for the testing protocols, for the recruitment procedures, and on the positive side, we have the change of the ICD. So better including disease related to old age. So Daria was speaking about this already yesterday. Yeah. What we absolutely need is to have clinical tests who are double-blind. So I think, but I know some people differ, maybe we'll speak about this. One group with the best already available treatment, and one group with the best already available treatment and the new therapy. Important to know that when we have this, both groups will be in a better situation than ordinary people because they will be especially followed. So people who will say, oh, it's not good to make experiments on old people, they are wrong. It will be better for them, not worse for them. They need to be old enough. So you know that for most medical tests at the moment, it's mostly young people. So if you have people 70, 80, 95, even 95 years old for men and 99 for women because of the difference of life expectancy, you can see the results much faster. And also it's more important for these people because if there is no treatment, they are going to die sadly fast. You need to have these people well informed enough, in good health, of course, for their age, and interested for themselves and for the community. What we need is good products or therapies. So you know probably about these products, metformin, rapamycin. There are many senolytics. The aspirin seems to be not so efficient, sadly. Idea of a combination pills, combining different products. And later, we don't have it yet, the gene therapy, and even later what we do not know yet that we can test. We need good biomarkers, and people like Guillaume and others can say things during the discussion about this. Good biomarkers and public results, that's very often a problem that we have. For example, there was a test on rapamycin a few, or maybe 5 years ago, but the results were never published, so you need to have before the treatment, during the treatment, and after the treatment, good biomarkers and public results. So these are a few of the many things that we can measure, but there are more, and the list is not complete here. Like I said, we need a global project, like at the European level or even at the world level. It's important to remember that they were already more or less global project. There were a few times in the history of humankind where we were trying to change things, like the first planes, like the first man on the moon, like, even if it's not working perfectly, Global Brain Project, the war on cancer. So here I think it's really even more important than all these projects. There are 110,000 people a day that we could save one day. What I wish, that's only a personal opinion, maybe stuff for debate and so on, but no patents, or at least not for everything that is paid with public money. My dream, I would say, I know maybe for some people it's a nightmare, but okay, my dream is that there are big public investment. Okay, if there are also big private investments, that's also great. But if it is a big public investment, that there are no too much patents and that there is no problem after of people trying to sell these products very expensive, and that it would be for a few, at least for 10 or 20 years. One for me, very important point is to make a reminder about how did we learn to love death. So our death of old age, of course, but also, yeah, this is a fable of La Fontaine. Actually, it was even before from a Roman poet very long ago, or Greek, I don't know anymore. So it's called The Fox and the Grapes. So you have the fox who see beautiful grapes, but he cannot reach them. And so he thinks, okay, these grapes has to be sour, not good. And this is the same thing for longevity, and for living much longer. People say that they don't want it because they cannot reach it. That's really, for me, I think it's called, there are many names for this, terror management theory. I forgot the other name, but there are many ways to tell about this thing, but I really think this is central. As long as the people don't think that it's possible, they are not going to really want it. Okay, there are also other aspects, but I will not go here in the details, also because people like Elena were also a little bit speaking about this, except maybe the last one. I think we didn't speak about this free choice. So quite a few people are saying, oh, I don't want new therapies concerning longevity because it will be, because I don't want to live forever, or I don't want to live without time limits. But it's not a problem. So if you don't want, you are not obliged to take the therapy. So this is kind of not logical thinking, but many people have this thinking. We should use artificial intelligence for this, of course, to try to find new therapies and to better organize the clinical trials. So this one, somebody showed it already, that's the fact that the cost per genome for decoding the DNA is decreasing faster than the Moore's law. So very, very fast. So when you combine the use of artificial intelligence and the fact that it's cheaper and faster to decode genomes, it opens beautiful perspectives. Okay, and now already a few things about money, but we will speak more about this maybe soon. And also simplification. For me, it's crazy that we have probably more scientists than ever in the history of humanity, but you have probably, or even certainly, more bureaucracy than ever in the history of humanity. So one of the consequences of this is that it's now the cost to test a new drug in Europe, but also more or less in the US, I think, it's about 1 billion because of this very heavy and very complicated legislation. So we need also lawyers or people knowing about legal systems to make it easier to test new products and to make a new scientific research. Of course, we need money. So we spoke about already a little bit about the Chan Zuckerberg initiative, not so much about Google Calico, but you know that they are very secretive. And there are also many startups, but it's also maybe something to discuss, especially with Guilhem. I think sometimes there are too many startups, or at least not enough coordination. Very important to remember, to remind you, but even more other people, then progress is not something certain. So if we were certain that we will have progress against aging, it would not be necessary to be here and to be working on scientific research. And don't forget that sometimes progress is going very, very, very fast. So 12 years before, it's of course 1957 and not 1967, 12 years before the first thing in the space and the first man on the moon. And since, on the other side, since about 40 years, we are not really progressing anymore concerning planes, or at least the speed of planes. We are even going down. A few words about how can scientists contribute. So there is this question, but it was also, Elena spoke already a lot about this. Which words can we use? So I know, Elena, you like very much the word immortality. No? Okay. I know Elena and others, and we say that we don't have to use this word. The word immortality was used already many years ago in France but it's not well known enough. There is the super longevity, rejuvenation, forever young. I heard today, I liked it, open lifespan or open longevity. Okay. And of course, you can use some kind. Of course, you have also to use always some long sentences to be clear about the fact that what we want is a longer and healthier life. Okay. Remember, almost all scientists in the field are longevists, but not all longevists are radical longevists like I am. So don't use the word radical, maybe. That was a discussion. We will come back maybe to this very briefly. What can we do? What can you do is more contacts with the press, more contacts with the citizens, more contacts with the stakeholders. To the point, but not too technical. Must be moving. So we can use also artistic aspects. And also always remind that the principle of precaution, that's especially, you see many people speaking about that in the French-speaking world. So the principle of precaution is also many times the kind of principle that you have to do things, proactive principle. Okay, so that's already all for my kind of introduction to the panel. And yeah, my conclusion at this moment is with this we can reach more equality and more equity tomorrow, and that I really think that it's also a dimension of the duty to rescue. So if it is possible with longevity research to make people live longer and healthier, the people who want, we have to. It's a moral obligation. And in countries like Belgium and France, it's even a legal obligation. If you can help somebody who is going to be suffering without your help, you have to help him. That's it. Thank you.